Pioneering rock and roll legend and the king of twang Duane Eddy has died at the age of 86. Duane inspired a generation of guitarists the world over with his unmistakable signature, twang sound. He was the first rock and roll guitar god, a truly humble and incredible human being. He will be sorely missed, a rep said in a statement to Variety. Duane Eddy, who had enjoyed a career spanning over 6 decades, is best known for hits such as Rouser, the titular theme song for the hit TV series Peter Gunn, 40 Miles of Bad Road, and Because They're Young, among various others. Eddy began learning guitar on his own at the age of 5 after moving to Phoenix, Arizona. As a teen, he met producer Lee Hazelwood, who co-wrote and produced some of the guitarist's early hits, like 1957's Move In and Groove In and 1958's Rouser. Over the course of his career, Eddy had become known for the twang sound that he pioneered on the guitar. In a 1986 interview with the Associated Press, he said of the twang, "I had a distinctive sound that people could recognize, and I stuck pretty much with that. I'm not one of the best technical players by any means. I just sell the best. It's a silly name for a non-silly thing, but it has haunted me for 35 years now. So it's almost like sentimental value if nothing else." Despite not singing, Duane Eddy clinched a whopping 16 hits in the top 40s between the late 1950s and 60s, going up against other musicians like Elvis Presley. Eddy was also said to be a big influence on the Beatles' Paul McCartney, and George Harrison and other guitar heroes include Bruce Springsteen. Cause of death: Eddy died Tuesday, April 30th, of cancer in Franklin, Tennessee, according to his wife, Dee Abate. He is survived by his wife and 4 children. In 1987, Eddy released a self-titled album, his first record in 20 years, featuring guest appearances from music greats like McCartney, Harrison, John Fogerty, Jeff Lynne, Steve Cropper, and many more. That year, he also performed on Paul McCartney's Rockestra theme. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1994. Following the news of his passing, several musicians have paid tribute to the late Duane Eddy. Mick Fleetwood wrote, "Yesterday in my studio I said this riff needs to sound like Duane Eddy as I picked up my Gretsch White Falcon guitar, saddened of the passing of this understated man who had talents more than most knew. Grateful for learning to play drums listening to his music." Duane inspired a generation of guitarists the world over with his unmistakable signature, twang sound, a rep told Variety. He was the first rock and roll guitar god, a truly humble and incredible human being. He will be sorely missed. The musician gained fame with a string of instrumental hits in the late 50s and early 60s, including the theme to TV series Peter Gunn and Rouser. He's recognized as the most commercially successful instrumental artist in rock and roll history, with 16 top 40 singles and 100 million records sold worldwide. "I had a distinctive sound that people could recognize, and I stuck pretty much with that. I'm not one of the best technical players by any means. I just sell the best," he told the Associated Press in a 1986 interview. "A lot of guys are more skillful than I am with the guitar. A lot of it is over my head, but some of it is not what I want to hear out of the guitar." Twang defined Eddy's sound from his first album, Have Twangy Guitar Will Travel, to his 1993 box set, Twang Tang, the Duane Eddy Anthology. "It's a silly name for a non-silly thing," Eddy said in 1993, "but it has haunted me for 35 years now, so it's almost like sentimental value if nothing else." He gained induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1994. Eddy recorded over 50 albums, including several reissues. From the 1980s onward, he scaled back his work, stating in 1986 that he was living off my royalties. Born on April 26, 1938, in Corning, New York, Eddy began playing guitar at the tender age of 5. As a teenager, he relocated with his family to Arizona. In Coolidge, Arizona, Eddy crossed paths with DJ Lee Hazelwood. who produced the budding guitarist's breakthrough single Rebel Rouser in 1958. A year later, Eddy achieved another hit with his rendition of Henry Mancini's theme song for the Private Eye television series, Peter Gunn. He also scored theme music for movies including Because They're Young, Pepe, and Gidget Goes Hawaiian. Eddy's distinctive style left a lasting impression on younger British musicians like George Harrison of the Beatles and Hank Marvin of the Shadows, as well as inspiring numerous instrumental surf bands that emerged in Southern California during the early 60s, per Variety. Later on, Bruce Springsteen paid tribute to Eddy's aggressive guitar approach through the expansive sound of Born to Run. Eddy underwent a brief but notable resurgence in the late 80s, marked by his collaboration with Art of Noise on a synthesizer-heavy remake of Peter Gunn. Duane Eddy, the American rock and roll guitarist, had a net worth of $5 million. He was widely recognized as one of the most influential rock and roll guitarists. Eddy's signature sound was characterized by a distinctive, twangy quality, which he achieved by playing lead on his guitar's bass strings. Duane Eddy, the renowned guitarist known for his twangy sound, was married to Dita Bate at the time of his passing. He is survived by his wife and 4 children. Duane Eddy had been married 4 times, and from his first marriage to Carol Fowler, he had 2 children, whose names are not publicly known. He also had 2 children from his marriage with Jessie Coulter, named Jennifer and Jack.